Um, Today we'll be reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 30, entitled The Activities of the Prachetas. And today we'll be covering over 2 verses. The first verse and purport I'll do on my own, and then we'll do verse 16 responsively. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashta Preshwa Bhadrisho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyotam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Okay, so I'll just read through these first, and then we'll go to 16. Praja Visarga Adishta Pitra Mamanuvartata Tatra Kanyang Vara Rohang Tamudvahatamachiram. Translation. Since all of you are very much obedient to my orders, I ask you to immediately marry that girl, who is so well qualified with beauty and good qualities. According to the order of your father, create progeny through her. Purport. The Prachetas not only were great devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but were very obedient to the orders of their father. Therefore, the Lord asked them to marry the daughter of Brahmlocha. Okay, text 16. Okay. Apridhag dharma shilanam sarveshang vasumadhyama apridhag dharma shileyang huyat patnyar pitashaya apridhag dharma shilanam sarveshang vasumadhyama apridhag dharma shileyang bhuyat patnyar pitashaya apridhag dharma shilanam sarvesham vasumadhyama apridhag dharma shileyang bhuyat patnyar pitashaya. Bolo. Apridhag dharma shilanam sarvesham vasumadhyama apridhag dharma shileyang bhuya patnyar tipasayat apridhag dharma shileyang sarvesham vasumadhyama apridhag dharma shileyang bhuya patnyar pitashaya.
Apridhag dharma shilanam
sarvesham vasumadhyama apridhag dharma shileyang
Tatyarpitashaya
Bhuyat Patnyarpitashaya Apritag Dharma Shilanam Sarvesham Vasumadhyama Apritag Dharma Shilayam Bhuyat Patnyarpitashaya. Okay. So, we'll do synonyms now. Apritak, without differences. Dharma, occupation. Shilanam, whose character. Sarvesham, all. Vaha, of you. Sumadhyama, a girl whose waist is slender. Apritak, without differences. Dharma, occupation. Shila, well behaved. Yam, this. Bhuyat, may she become. Patni, wife. Arpita Ashaya, fully surrendered. Alright, translation, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. You brothers are all of the same nature, being devotees and obedient sons of your father. Similarly, that girl is also of the same type and is dedicated to all of you. Thus, both the girl and you, the sons of Prachini Parhishat, are on the same platform, being united on a common principle. Okay, please repeat after me. You brothers are all of the same nature.
You brothers are all of the same nature.
Being devotees
Being my devotee.
uh, yeah, it just says devotees. And obedient sons of your father.
Obedient sons of your father.
Similarly,
Similarly,
that girl is also of the same type
that girl is also of the same type
and is dedicated to all of you.
and dedicated to all of you.
Thus, both the girl and you,
Thus, both the girl and you,
the sons of Prachini Barhishat,
the son of Krishna Bharashata,
are on the same platform,
are on the same platform,
being united by a common principle.
being united on a common principle.
Purport. According to Vedic principles, a woman cannot marry many husbands, although a husband can have many wives. In special instances, however, it's found that a woman has more than one husband. Draupadi, for instance, was married to all the five Pandava brothers. Similarly, the Supreme Person of Godhead ordered all the sons of Prachini Barhishat to marry the one girl born of the sage Kandu and Pramlocha. In special cases, a girl is allowed to marry more than one man, provided she is able to treat her husbands equally. This is not possible for an ordinary woman. Only one who is especially qualified can be allowed to marry more than one husband. In this age of Kali, to find such an equiposed woman is very difficult. Thus, according to scripture, Kalau Pancha Vivarajayat. In this age, a woman is forbidden to marry her husband's brother. This system is still practiced in some of the hilly tracts of India. The Lord says, Apridhag dharmashileyang bhuyat patnyar pitashaya. With the blessings of the Lord, all things are possible. The Lord especially blessed the girl to surrender equally to all brothers. Apridhag dharma, meaning occupational duty without difference of purpose, is taught in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is divided into three primary divisions: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The word yoga means acting on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Yagyarthat karmanon nyat Tralokoyam karma bandhana tarartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to his material world. Therefore, O sons of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and that way you will always remain unattached and free from bondage. One may act according to his own occupational duty due to satisfy just to satisfy the Yogya Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is called a Pridhag Dharma. Different limbs of the body may act in different ways, but the ultimate objective is to maintain the entire body. Similarly, if we work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will find that we satisfy everything. We should follow in the footsteps of the Prachetas, whose only aim was to satisfy the Supreme Lord. This is called Aprithag Dharma. According to Bhagavad Gita 1866, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanang Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. This is the advice of Lord Krishna. Our only aim should be to act in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of the Lord. This is oneness or Apridha Dharma. Om Jnana-dhamrandhasya Gnanjana-salakaya Chaksa Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mayam Dharati Swapidantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopasha Gopaka Kanta Raha Kanta Namostate Tatta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vaishapanu Sotarevi Pranamami Hare Pre Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivashesha Shunavare Pashatire Shtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasai Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so today's translation once more. You brothers are all of the same nature, being my devotees and obedient sons of your father. Similarly, that girl is also of the same type and is dedicated to all of you. Thus, both the girl and you, the sons of Prachini Barisha, are on the same platform, being united on a common principle. So, we'll tackle one of the main parts of this briefly. So back in the day, it was common for people, especially men, to marry more than one person. And we can see that this is observed in several cultures throughout the world, throughout time, regardless of what continent. So it used to be a way, one of the main reasons this was for, especially in Vedic times, was this was the way to ensure that all women would have a husband, and due to having a husband, that would mean that they're protected and not exploited. Whereas if they didn't have a husband, they may end up being exploited by other men and turn into, for lack of better words, prostitutes. So this being able to marry multiple women at that point in time was to ensure that that wouldn't have to happen. But in Kali Yuga, this isn't so practical, mainly because most people aren't really qualified to do that, as well as most people aren't capable of taking care of more than one person, let alone 2 or 3. So most people, especially mostly in Kali Yuga, that are into this idea, it's this more mentality, you know. Um, if I have more, that means I have more opportunities to fulfill uh, my lust. More that may be for food, you know. I want more sweets. I want more money. I want more of this. I want more of that. So it also this also happens when it comes to having a partner. So we see even in Kali Yuga, people marry one person, but they end up cheating on that person because they're wanting more. Their lust isn't satisfied. They have this more and more mentality. So with this idea of having one wife in this age of Kali Yuga, um, Prabhupada mentions in the purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 9:10:54. I think this is pretty much the whole purport to that. But Prabhupada mentions that Eka Patni Vrata, accepting only one wife, was the glorious example set by Lord Ramachandra. One should not accept more than one wife. In those days, of course, people did marry more than one wife. Even Lord Ramachandra's father accepted more wives than one. But Lord Ramachandra, as an ideal king, accepted only one wife, Mother Sita. When Mother Sita was kidnapped by Ravana and the Rakshasas, Lord Ramachandra, as the Supreme Person of Godhead, could have married hundreds and thousands of Sitas. But to teach us how faithful he was to his wife, he fought with Ravana and finally killed him. The Lord punished Ravana and rescued his wife to instruct men to have only one wife. Lord Ramachandra accepted only one wife and manifested sublime character, thus setting an example for householders. Householders should live according to the ideal of Lord Ramachandra, who showed how to be a perfect person. Being a householder or living with a wife and children is never condemned, provided one lives according to the regulative principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Those who live in accordance with these principles, whether as householders, brahmacharis, or vanaprasthas, are all equally important. So here Prabhupada talks about, especially talk concerning this age of Kali Yuga, about having one wife and the dedication of one wife. Lord Ramachandra, his wife was taken away. She was so dedicated to him, so dedicated that when he was banished to leave the kingdom and go to the forest, she followed right along with him, going through all the austerities of living out in the forest without shoes and all the things that come along with living out in the forest. So she followed him, and he was dedicated to her. She was taken away from him, and he searched all over the world for her. He sent armies all over the world in search for her. He didn't give up. And when they did find where she was, Hanuman had went over to Lanka where she was found. And when he went over there, he could have brought her back. He made it there in one leap. But she didn't want that. She said, "My Lord Rama is coming for me." And she knew that not only was he going to set an example, but also that he would destroy the demons there as well. So she waited for him, and due to his dedication and unwillingness to forgive for to give up on her, he and his armies destroyed all the they destroyed Ravana and many of the Rakshasas, all for his wife. one person. Many were killed. So he set an example of dedication to one's wife. Um, so going back to this idea of one wife or multiple wives, um, something important to remember, as is kind of pointed out in this verse, is that when the Lord gives instructions, whatever He says overrides the norm, even if not so many people are able to comprehend it. So it may be that at certain times the Lord is going to say to do something, and other people might not understand that. But whatever He says overrides it, because as He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mai sarvam idang proktang sutre mani ganaiva, that everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So everything is dependent on Him. All the rules, all the regulations, all the laws, karma, everything that you can imagine all rests upon Him. He is the king of the universe. So whatever He says goes. He could change laws if He were to want to, or He doesn't have to. Whatever He says is going to override anything, even the standards or norms of society or culture. So a quick example of this could be Krishna and Yudhishthira. During the battle, he told Yudhishthira to lie that Ashwatthama died. But Yudhishthira, he was thinking lying is not good. This is against Dharma. Like, how could I lie? And he's like, no, you should lie. And so instead, what happened, Yudhishthira, as he was saying, Ashwatthama, the elephant, died. The conch was blown at the elephant part. So all that was heard was Ashwatthama died. And so we see later on that Yudhishthira, the righteous king who'd never lied, never done anything wrong, he was Dharma itself practically. He went to hell. And it's like, why is that? And there's debates about this, but from a bhakti standpoint, we understand that it was because he did not follow the orders of the Lord. It was above what the regular was. So because he didn't follow what the Lord said, he went to hell. So there may be times. So, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita as well that abandon all varieties of religion just to run unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful actions to not fear. So the ultimate thing is to surrender unto Krishna. And you don't have to fear about the reactions, even if it's sinful. Like, for example, the lying. Lying is generally considered sinful. But if he would have lied, it would have been just because Krishna is telling him to do so. So when we surrender to Krishna, we transcend onto the transcendental platform. And there may be times that we need to do things which we may think are contrary to what we should do. This may be things such as lying, fighting, even killing, or so many other things. Even more so when Krishna is asking or telling you to do something directly. But this is not to say that we should whimsically be like, oh, Krishna's telling me that I should do this or whatever. There's so many people that pull that kind of thing. God's telling me I should do this or I should say this to you. No, you shouldn't go based off of just this whimsical idea of what you think God is telling you to do. But through purified knowledge and perception from reading, chanting, hearing, so many other things, as well as having a guru, being around sadhus and reading Shastra, hearing Shastra, we will be able to better understand what is to be done and what's not to be done based on time, place, and circumstances. So as we're doing this process of reading, chanting, and we have our guidelines from the guru, the sadhus, and the shastras or the scriptures telling us what is and what's not to be done. we'll better be able to know what we should do in different circumstances. Sometimes you have to do something that you're not so willing to do, sometimes not. But you'll know when during those times through this purification process. And maybe that one does end up having direct instructions from Krishna at some point, but this is not something to be falsely imitated. So you gotta really be purified to be able to understand, is this my mind telling me to do this, or is this Krishna telling me to do this? Or, maybe you're lucky and Krishna comes to you directly face to face and tells you to do something. Over and above all, we follow Krishna wherever he leads us, because it is more about his happiness than our own happiness. And in his satisfaction, we'll also find our own. And it's because he is the Purusha, the enjoyer. Every morning we sing Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This Purusha means person, but it also means enjoyer. And Adi means first or original. So he's the original and first enjoyer, the original person. And Tamaham Bhajami, I worship him. And so we, being what's known as Prakriti, we are meant to give satisfaction, Lord. So just as the hand is meant to give satisfaction to the stomach while we eat, this is a popular Prabhupada analogy. And he kind of goes into this with the idea where he says different limbs of the body may act in different ways, but the ultimate objective is to maintain the entire body. So when we act opposite to our function, we get minimal to no satisfaction. And because of that, we suffer. So when the hand decides not to give food to the mouth and stomach, it's not that the hand is enjoying the flavors and the nutrition of the food. It may enjoy the warmth, it may enjoy the touch, but that's as far as it goes. However, when the parts are functioning properly and serve the whole, the hand gives food to the stomach, and not only the stomach is satisfied, but all the limbs, including the hand, become satisfied and nourished through giving the food to stomach. So when we satisfy the whole, all things and all parts emanating from the whole become satisfied automatically. What just happened? So this is the function of service. However, it's important to remember that love is the main thing, because Krishna is self-satisfied. He doesn't need us to do anything. He doesn't need to eat. He doesn't need something to do this, to do that. He can produce all those things himself. I mean, he's the origin of everything. He's the supreme enjoyer. And we're so minute. What can we really do? What can we give him that he doesn't already have? When we do give him something, I could say, I give this to you, I give that to you. But was it ever yours to begin with? No, you didn't come with any of these things. You didn't even have this body. You were gifted this body. So even this body doesn't belong to you. You leave it after you die. So even this body doesn't belong to you. What really belongs to you that you could give to God? So love is the main thing. As he says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Patang pushpam palam toyang yume bhaktya prayachati taraham bhakti paritam ashnami prayatamana. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, water, I will accept it. So it's not that he needs these things, it's the love that he's accepting. Because he already has everything. And the only thing that you could truly give him is your love, your attention, and yourself. This is the only thing that he doesn't fully have. You get to decide whether you give those things to him or not. That's your free will. However, in our present condition, we are covered, because originally this love is already present within us. It's the Sanatan Dharma of the soul, and you can't take it away. Sanatan meaning internal, and Dharma meaning like that intrinsic nature or something that cannot be taken away. So As always, as we say, you can't take away the wet from water, you can't take away the heat from fire, and so on. So similarly with the soul, you can't take away this love. This love is part of the soul, it's a function of the soul. And that love is expressed through service. When we love someone, we try to serve them however that we can. But right now we're covered. Uh, as Krishna also says, Davihi Sagunamayim Mama Maya Durataya Maya Mitam Durantite. No, my bad. Mameva Ye Praparyante Maya Mitam Durantite. That this divine energy mind consisting of three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So he gives us a little formula on how we can overcome this covering that's covering us from knowing who we are, knowing God, having full love of God, and coming out of this illusion that we're in of I'm this body, this is who I am, this is my family, this is my country, this is where I belong, and so on. He says, just surrender unto me. Um, so part of that process is through following the steps of a bona fide spiritual master, and as well as following the Vaidhi Bhakti process, things like hearing, chanting, remembering, doing so many of these other processes. But one of the most important parts is hearing and chanting the Maha Mantra of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 22, verse 107, it is said that pure love of Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So, in one sense, you can say that this isn't a process of searching. This is more of a process of uncovering yourself and all that you had held on to. So all this is naturally within you. This is kind of like the Buddhist saying, if you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha. Have any of you heard that before? No, if you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha. Have you heard that before? So this is the idea that everyone naturally has a Buddha nature. So if you're seeking the Buddha externally, you're already cheating yourself because it's within you. So similarly, as said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this love of God is already within you. If you're searching for it, well, if I do, if I perform this correctly and I do this correctly, and I put this whole little formula together, I'm gonna get pure love of God. Then you're kind of cheating yourself. It's already there, but it's this process of going through what the past and previous acharyas have taught us on how to uncover this. Krishna says, surrender unto him, follow the footsteps of a bona fide spiritual master, and chant these holy names of the Lord. So you do these things, this naturally starts to uncover you. It's not that, I'll do this, I'll do that. We see that so many devotees have become self-realized and they're not all doing the same exact things. Some people, you would think there's no way they would become enlightened or have love of God. They live like this, they live like that, but somehow, they got pure love of God. Whereas this person that's over here doing the most, he's reading all the time, he's quoting all these shlokas, he's like the Mr. Devotee you could ever think of. He doesn't necessarily have pure love of God. So it's not so much all that. It's more your internal, what is your mood and your process of going about it. So this isn't something to be sought out. This is something that's already within you naturally. If you follow the process, this will all be uncovered. But this uncovering process means that we're going to have to let go. That's the biggest thing, is you're going to have to let go. So, if you're holding on to a 50-pound weight and you're in a huge deep body of water, you're going to drown. If you let go, you can survive, but if you just hold on, you're going to kill yourself. So similarly, if we have to learn to let go. And so, we attach ourselves to sense gratification, our family, our friends, our race, ethnicity, culture, language, country, district, groups, and so much more, all causing ourselves false identification with this body and this world. We're none of these things, but yet we so bad want to make ourselves comfortable here. Because if I could identify myself and be comfortable with that identification within this world, that means I have a place that I belong within this world. But you don't belong in this world. But in order to feel that security of this is where I belong and I feel comfortable here, you have to create this false identity of I'm Mr. So-and-so, I'm from this, I'm from that, I'm part of this group, that group, I speak this language, that language. We have to come up with these, but this is only prolonging our life here in the material world and our suffering. Everything in this world is a perversion, or this everything in this material world is a perversion of the spiritual world. There's form, there's sound, taste, touch, sight. There's personal entities, there's trees, animals, so many things. So along with such things is our love for Krishna. It becomes perverted in this world as lust. So love turns into lust. Where love is seeking to serve, lust is seeking to be served. So many relationships, even familial relationships, what to speak of marriage or so forth, they are generally not genuine, and oftentimes there's so many problems that come along with them because it's not based on love. It's a foundation of lust, of how can you serve me? You served me for this amount of time, but you changed how you serve me, and now I don't like it, and I got it. We got to part ways. Well, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7.5 that besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So we're superior energy, however, by misuse of our free will, we become under the control of material consciousness. Instead of using things to serve Krishna, we use those things to serve ourselves, and this causes our further bondage. So this is a good point to get into the idea of karma. We hear karma so much, but we use karma as kind of like a widespread term. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it is described that there's 3 types of karma. There's regular karma, which would be pious reaction. So I do good things, I get good things. There's vikarma. I'm doing bad things. Things are against what the Shastra says, and therefore I get bad things in return. And then there's akarma. Is a negating word, so akarma means no reaction. And this is only possible when we are acting on the spiritual platform, which means that we are serving Krishna. When we serve Krishna, we get no good or bad reaction. When we serve ourselves, we get good or bad results. And because of that, we'll have to take on another body. So if I don't burn up all that good and bad karma, I just keep creating more and more, I'm going to have another body accept those good or bad things in my next life. But this can be stopped if we serve Krishna, when we do things for Krishna, when we stop serving ourselves and serve Him. So we're opposite. So we do the opposite. We are Krishna conscious act. So okay, my bad. However, when we do the opposite, we are Krishna conscious, acting in our true position. And Prabhupada states in Bhagavad Gita's purport to chapter 272, which I find this pretty inspiring. And I just recently read through this a few weeks ago, that there is no difference between the kingdom of God and the devotional service of the Lord, since both of them are on the absolute plane. To be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is to have attained the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, there are activities of sense gratification, whereas in the spiritual world, there are activities of Krishna consciousness. Attainment of Krishna consciousness, even during this life, is immediate attainment of Brahman, and one who is situated in Krishna consciousness has certainly already entered into the kingdom of God. So at this point, when one's actually on a Krishna conscious level, in reality, it doesn't matter whether you're here in the material world or you're there in the spiritual world, because you're pretty much already in the spiritual world. You're doing exactly what you would be doing in the spiritual world. You're loving and you're serving Krishna. You're loving and serving God. However, for a materialist, their main thing is to seek satisfaction and peace, which is natural. We're parts and parcels of the Lord, so we do seek satisfaction and peace. So if they don't find it here in the material world, generally their next thing is just liberation. I want to be liberated. That might be in personal liberation, or that may be I want to go to the kingdom of God. But for a devotee, on at least a pure devotee platform, it doesn't really matter, because either way, I'm going to be serving Krishna. And ultimately, it's up to whatever is going to please him the most. If he wants me in the spiritual world, I'll be in the spiritual world with him. But if he wants me in the material world, for whatever his reason being, then I'll be in the material world, because it's satisfying him. And through his satisfaction, I get the most satisfaction. So the main point of the verses today and the purport all comes down to doing everything for Krishna. There may be times that we do things, or we're supposed to do things, that not everybody's going to understand. Even to like the materialists, us being here, for them, we're not really doing anything. We're just sitting down, reading, chanting to a bunch of dolls in their eyes. But for us, we know that we're actually doing the most. The Lord is right here present with us. We're chanting the names. We're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And yeah, there will be times that we do end up doing things that not everybody's going to understand. But if it's Krishna's will, if Krishna's desiring it, and we know for certain, not just that our mind's coming up with that, but through the purification process of hearing, chanting, reading Shastra, Guru, and the sadhus and so forth, then through that purification, we can start to know when Krishna's telling us to do something or not. And if we really love him, we'll fall through with whatever he asks, even if we are going to be misunderstood. And oftentimes we will be, whether it's devotees or the karmis, we're bound to be misunderstood. That's natural. But when we're doing it out of love for Krishna, then what else matters? He understands. Anyways, I think we'll end here and open up for discussion. And Lalita Priya, you're the first person.
So I have two things. First, you were talking about women marrying multiple husbands, or men marrying multiple wives, and this is just a comment. Like historically, so the Vikings, they raided a lot, right? They kept leaving and raiding, and just raiding Europe and parts of Asia. And it said that actually what caused them to do that was because of plural marriage, right? It was because the guys that were doing well were marrying so many women that there was not enough women to go around. And so these men thought, well, if I want to get married, I need to, amass a bunch of wealth. And so they went out raiding. And so it's probably a good thing that we don't really see this so much anymore. Else we'd have to, start raiding parties.
Yeah, Kali, it's not so practical.
Yeah. Anyway, and also, that's been done already. So I think, the monasteries in England, they're ready. They know, that they shouldn't keep, all their gold on the altar, because raiding parties can come and get it. Anyway, and then the other thing you were talking about, how someone that could be reading every day and looks like Mr. Joe devotee, but he still might not have that pure love of God, and then someone else who you could be thinking like, what? How could they possibly have it? And then they have it, and so it made me think of that one story. I think it's like Lord Ram, and there's a devotee of Lord Ram, and she's going out. She wants to offer him berries, and so she's going out every day and she's picking berries, but she's like tasting each berry to make sure she only wants to give him the sweetest berries. And so then she offers them to him, and from anybody that's done even just the smallest amount of worship, that's not proper, it's unclean. And so I think Lakshman tells him like, hey, those berries are not clean. And Lord Ram, I forget exactly what he said, but he said something to the effect like no, he wanted them that they tasted sweeter, right? Kind of like the same with the banana peel story. And I just thought that was so sweet because that lady, she obviously was not terribly well versed in like all the ins and outs of what is proper and what is improper and anything, but her love, that love that she had was there, and the reason she was tasting those berries was to make sure he got the best ones, so and so I think that we got to keep that in mind. So
Yeah, I think that's a really. I was trying to think of some examples, but I was kind of rushing because I just prepared last night this morning. So I thank you for that.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's definitely important because we think that doing all this and that's what's going to give us the love. But Bhakti Devi is independent of even Krishna. She bestows herself to whoever, even if they don't seem like the person to have it. I mean, I'm trying to think of who it was. Can't think of the name, but Gadad Harapanda was taken to this one person. Maybe you know his name, and he was living lavishly. He had servants. He was like a king. Yeah, Pundari. Okay, that's what I thought. He was eating beetle nuts, and he had like the finest clothes and all that. And Gadadhar Pandit's like, this is like really your greatest devotee. Like he's like sense enjoying over here, like to the max. And then he started hearing the glories of the Lord, and he started like wailing in tears, knocking over everything, breaking things. And then Gadadhar Pandit would realize, whoa, this is a high level devotee right here. Or we may even see somebody like Vangshidas Babaji, who Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told his disciples don't even go around him because you wouldn't understand him. He's all dreaded up and he's tying up his deities and tossing them in the river and doing all kinds of things. You would think, that's not according to the Pancharatrika. Like, that's not allowed. They should be like served like this, isn't that? But he's living completely opposite. So it all really depends on that internal part. The externals are there and they help to purify us, and we should try to follow them. We shouldn't just give these things up prematurely, but we should follow them, but not see them as that's what's going to get me in. Because you can do all that, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get it if you don't have it within here. I mean, even never mind. I'll just stop there. But is there any other questions or comments, Chandrika?
So just as Lord Ram won Sita's hand in marriage, it's almost like he had to like conquer her again, because of Ravana. So the fact that obviously, he could have just, like you said, Hanuman could have just brought Sita back. But so is it that Lord Ram is showing us that commitment is really important, and dedication, like in the relationship. It's also showing us our commitment to God, to Lord Ram, to Krishna. That depth of love can be that strong, and that we are committed to that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for bringing that up. It definitely shows that, because in a relationship, some of the most important things is open and honest communication with one another, as well as dedication. Because there's going to be times that you guys annoy each other. There's going to be times where you don't feel that love. There's going to be times where you misunderstand each other, when things get hard, when even the world seems to be against the two of you being together. There's so many things that are going to pop up. But when you show up and dedicate yourself, regardless of all those things, that's where the love deepens and it shows your dedication. But along with that, which is one of the beauties of the Grihastha Ashram, is if you look at it properly, you can learn how to reflect that onto God.
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, it's hard to do that, but through that kind of thing, they develop this with their partner, and therefore, if they look at it properly, they get that realization of how they can do the same to the Lord. Because everything's meant to be a lesson to God. So if you can learn and realize how to dedicate yourself in that way, then you can realize and dedicate yourself to God in the same, or even more capacity in the same way. Thank you for that. All right, I think we'll end there. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.